to serve under your chairmanship. I want to just make a few comments about the impact of what we looked at in this report on education, on housing, and on the insurance market. And these, of course, are quite adequately set out in the report, so I'm just going to bring out a few points. But the starting point for me is all about the need to provide proper rehabilitation and support for people who have obtained a conviction, however they have obtained that. And if we don't come from that position when we discuss this, I think we are lost. And there is therefore, as I mentioned in my intervention, a great need to ensure that education institutions are aware of the particular needs of an individual. And it may be that an individual has admittedly a spent conviction that came about because of mental health capacity needs. And it would be absolutely appropriate for the education establishment to know about that in order to provide the necessary support to be able to make sure that he or she can be looked after in the best possible way. But what it is not possible or should not be possible for an institution to do is the case that we heard of the nurse who, at the age of 15, had a conviction for actual bodily harm for tackling a school bully. Now, as a result of that, her place to study nursing at university was revoked. And she had to go to appeal in order to get a decision made on that. And she had to go through the explanations of what had occurred there. Now, they did reverse the decision there, but after she had finished there and after she'd gone to look for jobs, she said that she'd found her career progression had been inhibited because of this spent conviction. And I think that is where the unfairness in the system comes out and why we need some of the flexibility that my honourable friend mentioned when he gave his explanation. The second area that I wanted to touch on is housing. And I have to say I need to tread carefully here, being a member of the ministry concerned. But I do think that there is a great case here for making sure that the allocation of housing and the schemes that are set up for that does not make avoidable barriers when it comes to providing people with accommodation. We all know that accommodation is one of the best routes to stability and to providing the individual with a job and a good background, and we need to encourage them to do that. So I just leave it at this, that I would ask my honourable friend the Minister if he could explain what conversations have been had with the Ministry of Housing to be able to take this forward and to make sure that there is no implication in that the issue is not being addressed. And lastly, I wanted to look at the issue of insurance, which we've already discussed for a bit. And there we found a number of examples of where there were avoidable barriers. And one of them, which is what I mentioned in my intervention, was a complaint involving motor insurance, where the insurer had cancelled an existing customer's policy on discovering that she had a spent conviction. Now, she complained about that because it was she who had revealed that she had a spent conviction. And what the Ombudsman found, that it was unfair and unreasonable for her to be punished for her honesty in making sure that she disclosed this information. I think the insurer was fined in this particular case. But it is a very good example of how the insurance industry has not been properly managed to be able to tackle this issue. And I know that in their report, the government said that it was talking to the ABI, for example, about trying to deal with this issue. And I would like to know how those discussions are going and what we can look forward to. But those are just